All right, good morning, BSG. My name is Sniper Wave. I will be the host throughout PokéPark 2 Wonders Beyond, ran by Crrool. And since we're kind of behind schedule, I'm just going to give the mic over to him and wish him the best of luck.
Okay, thank you, Sniper, and welcome everybody to PokéPark 2 Wonders Beyond. At Tech, it's a 4x3 game, so you might want to get on that. But yeah, let's just get started either way. So this one, as you can see, it already has 0 playtime. Okay, there you go. Make sure that my text speed is set to fast, because, you know, fast text is kind of nice to have. And then let's get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, welcome to PokéPark 2 for the Wii. This is one of the things you're going to see a lot because there's a fair few loading screens in this game. But here we go. We get some. We get a little bit of a story here before we go into the tutorial, where we're going to see Zekrom and Reshiram talk about like basically the end of the world. And you know, they mention something about some darkness coming, and yeah, it's pretty bad, but there is some light. They just don't know if it's strong enough to, you know, get everything back as the way it's supposed to. So here they start talking about, you know, disaster and bad things. But, you know, there is an option. And that little bit of light is us, the player, Pikachu, because we're going to be playing this game as Pikachu. And the way we do that in PokéPark is by making a lot of friends, because making friends is a good thing. And yeah. Okay, that should be it. So we get another quick little loading screen. And then it's off to the start. And right away, we're going to get to our first little optimization in just a moment. We've got a few movement options in this game. We can dash, which is usually the fastest way to move. or we can jump, which for very short distances is generally the fastest way to go. So this is Piplup. He's our friend. So we jump towards Piplup. It's actually a few frames faster here to jump towards Piplup rather than to dash and then slow down again. Because as soon as I start dashing, which we're going to do right now, we would either bonk into him or we would end up having to slow down again. And that animation does take a little bit of time. So just a minor little save. Or we have to dash into the box to get a berry, which is the main currency in this game. Generally, we don't actually need that many berries, but we are going to get a bunch from making friends later on, and we're going to use that to buy upgrades such as faster movement speed and stronger attacks to either make, the running around the map faster or to make sure that we get through the fights a little bit faster. So right here, Piplup tells us that, we have to go chase him, and we're going to go into our first little mini game. There's a lot of these little mini games. This is how we make friends. We either dash into them like that, and we just give them a headbutt, or we have to battle them. Piplup being the first friend is a chase, so. Now, he had fun. He's going to give us some berries. We actually need those later on. And he's also going to give us the PokéPark pad. Now, if you blink it, you'll miss it, because we only get to see the PokéPark pad once in this entire run. It's where we save the game. It's where we see how many friends we have. And that's about everything you're going to see from it. So now that that's done, it's on to our next stop, because we're actually going to move on. We're going to meet our another Pokemon that we're going to fight here. This right here is Timber, and Timber is training at the moment. He's trying to become stronger. So what we're going to do is, Timber asks us to use our best move on him, which is Thunderbolt. Now, we do Thunderbolt by holding 1 for a little while to have it charge up, and there we go. Now, this is actually one of the differences in the tech between PokéPark 1 and PokéPark 2, because in PokéPark 1, you actually use the A button for it, and you just instantly use Thunder, whereas here, there's actually a little bit of a charge-up time, so to speak. Now, Timber challenges us to a battle, so let's go fight him. We're just going to dash into him, use our attack like that, and dodge his attack, and there we go. That's the battle with Timber. So Timber, again, he gives us some more berries, and we're tough, so he likes us, because, he likes tough Pokemon. So now we're friends with Timber. That's the other way you make friends. Usually you either have to chase them, or you have to fight them in a battle. Sometimes there are some other quests, and there are some quizzes and the likes. We'll actually get to see a quiz towards the end of the run, one of the last areas. Yeah, now we actually get to the PokéPark, and this is where a pretty lengthy cutscene is going to start. So, host, if you have anything to talk about, now is a fantastic time.
I mean, I could talk about the upcoming incentive for Yoshi's Story even, which is the upgrade from any percent to all melons 1 lap, which is still 185 euros away. But what is slightly further away is the bonus run in Barney's Hide and Seek Co-op No Controller, which is a cumulative incentive. So if we raise over 4,000 before the start of that run, it will happen. So be sure to get your donations in.
Yeah, that run is Barney's Hide and Seek, No Controller, co-op with the crowd. It's bound to be a blast.
Yo, did somebody say 0x A-press runs?
Wait, what?
I mean, if you don't have a controller, you don't have A-presses, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is very true. So,
Shoutouts to Panakuk.
Yeah, fantastic run. Definitely worth that. I don't think we have that long for it left either, so... Yeah, we basically get to fly through all the parks real quick. It's kind of going to give us an overview of what's to come. Because all of these places we have to visit, and this is actually the one we're going to start in. This is Seasong Beach. Now, in order to progress through a lot of the parts, we have to make a certain amount of friends. And the more friends you get, the easier it is. So there'll actually be a few places where it'll be a little bit difficult for us just because we don't have a lot of friends. But as we get to Seasong Beach, Piplup actually sees a bit of a gathering of Pokemon over there, so he's going to check out what's going on. I can't actually move while he walks there. For some reason, you're just stuck in this camera until he actually arrives. And now we can finally dash over. It's the only instance in the game where that's the case. So we go here, we triggered the cutscene, and Crrool is telling us about Wish Park. It's only 10 berries to get there, and there is it's supposedly a lot of fun, and there is all-you-can-eat free cake. Now, we've had Portal this week, so you know the cake is a lie, but here we actually get all-you-can-eat free cake. So I'm a fan, so we decide to head over there as well. Let's try to pick up that berry along the way. I don't really need it, but, you know, gets us a little bit closer to what we need. And as we run here, we're going to meet up with another Pokemon, Oshawott. Now, we'll run across all Gen 5 starters over the course of this run, and this is the first one we're going to see. So he finds us suspicious. He calls us Mr. Lightning Tail. So Piplup tells us that we are his friend, and we're on our way to Wish Park. And Oshawott asks us to give him 10 berries, and we're like, yeah, no, we're not going to give you any. And then Oshawott's going to run off again. Bye, Oshawott. So, off to Wish Park. Now, Wish Park is locked behind these somewhat magical doors, I guess. And it actually takes the power of friendship to open up these doors. So, but Crrool is going to open it for us. So here, this time around, we don't actually have to worry about it. But we do have to pay 10 berries per person, so 20 berries total. And here we see the park open up for us. Now, in just a moment, we're actually going to come up on what is probably the hardest minigame in the entire run. You'll see this is stupidly difficult, but you know, we should be able to get through it. Yeah, first we're gonna warp into the PokéPark. We see Pikachu float through the portal in these loading screens, and this is the first part of Wish Park. Now, Wish Park contains 4 parts. We're only one of these parts is accessible to us right now. But towards the end, we'll actually have to reunite all 4 of these parts in order to, you know, save the world, basically. So as we enter, we're going to be greeted by Gothita. You'll see in a moment. And a lot of the PokéPark is filled with, like, Ghost and Dark type and Psychic type Pokemon. Yeah, Piplup mentions that, you know, this thing is floating, which is something, and the entire park seems to be made of sweets. So here's Gothita welcoming us to the PokéPark. Or to the Wish Park, rather. And, now we can go play here forever and forever, or that's what she says. But you know, we just got here for the free cake, so let's go get some free cake. On the way, we meet up with Chinchino and Munchlax, and you know they're also here for the free cake. Munchlax asking about the cake, and Gothita mentioned that the cake is at Cofagrigus' attraction. So we're gonna have to play this attraction first in order to get the cake. And you'll see, especially the first round of this attraction, it's really, really difficult. But yeah, here we see Cofagrigus. Panpour mentions that you know, he's played like 23 times, or rather, the next time will be number 23 that he plays this minigame. So he's a big fan, and Cofagrigus is all happy because of that. Now, this is also the first instance where motion controls is actually going to come into play, because I actually need to aim pretty precisely in order to make this work. And there is actually a place early on where you know, the timer doesn't actually start until I hit a specific spot. Yeah, we're gonna skip all of the instructions here. We're gonna pick Pikachu as our Pokemon, and we're gonna start the attraction. Okay, so this is Cafagrigus' attraction, Cake Contraption. Okay, so now the timer starts, and you'll see how tough this game is. There we go. We just have to enjoy the music for about a minute. So, host, if you have more to talk about, go ahead, because we're just gonna sit here.
To get back to you on those incentives, we are only 2 runs away for the Yoshi Story incentive, which is gonna happen at around 9 to 10 p.m. or a.m. even, and Barney will happen around 3 p.m. So Barney's still at 4,000 total. We're 595 away. We can do it, chat. I guess there's more things to talk about since things are still popping up on the screen. We would like to thank ESA for supporting the event and for allowing us to stream on their channel. And you can actually consider to help out both the events by subscribing to the ESA channel. You'll get access to both the ESA and BSG emotes if you do so. Also, if you have Amazon Prime and you haven't linked it to your Twitch account yet, you will get access to Twitch Prime, which gets you a free subscription token for every single month. So if you want to consider using it here, then that'd be amazing.
Okay, so that was obviously a very difficult mini game. We actually got a perfect score there. So, quite something right there.
How does he do it?
Yeah, it's... Now, we actually do have to play it next time. But the first time around, for some reason, the story goes on, even if you get 0 points. So, we don't really have to go for it. Now, Panseer comes up to us and mentions that everybody who's been eating the cake has been behaving oddly, and we look around and we see a lot of Pokemon completely in trance of this cake. And then Cafagrigus is going to suggest we take a bite first before we judge, and he's force feeding it to Panseer. And now Panseer is completely obsessed with the cake as well. But yeah, there's clearly something wrong here. But before he gets a chance to do that to us, Oshawott shows up. He's been investigating all the Pokemon that have gone missing. And his investigation has led him here to Wish Park. So Oshawott is gonna face up against Cafagrigus, and we're gonna be fighting the Yamask. And this is where the game explains to us that we actually have another move that we can use. By shaking the controller, we can use Iron Tail, which is gonna be quite useful for the upcoming fight. Now the strat here is to try and jump in between 2 lines of enemies, and then use Iron Tail to get rid of them. And if we do it perfectly, we can do it in two hits. No, missed it. So it's going to be 3 hits. There you go. That's the fight. That was still a pretty good fight. Like, it was... I was slightly too far to the right to be able to hit all 4 of them. So we had to do an extra hit, but it wasn't too bad. And now somebody from the sky seems to talk to him. And Cafagrigus asks his master to forgive him. He's clearly very scared about that, and then this happens. So we're gonna get chased down by these very big hands. You may have already guessed which Pokemon that is. If not, I'll keep it a secret a little bit longer. Yeah, this is our escape sequence. It's just a cutscene, so we just have to wait as it happens. But just as we get to the gate, something unfortunate happens here. See, Piplup falls down. The hand manages to block us. There's plenty of room to walk between those fingers, but for some reason Piplup felt the need to just push us through, and now Piplup is stuck in the Wish Park. Now our friend has gone missing. We need to go find our friend. Okay, so we're back on Seasong Beach. The door locks behind us, and now we're stuck here. We can't re-enter the Wish Park anymore. Now Oshawott starts to wonder about how we're going to open up this portal, and through that we get the idea maybe we should talk to Samurott, the keeper of this park. See, every area has a Pokemon that's considered the keeper, so basically like the protector of this specific part of the park. And for this part, it's going to be Samurott. So we're going to go over to Samurott and talk to him, see if he has some ideas as to how we might be able to get Piplup back. Now here it's actually slightly faster for me to go to the left, because that way Oshawott won't be in the way and I don't have to worry about trying to get around him. Distance-wise, it's the exact same, so it doesn't really matter too much. So here we meet Samurott, and Oshawott's going to give a report about what he's discovered about the Wish Park and the portal that's at the beach. Now Samurott will suggest that he might need some help, or that, you know, he could probably use our help with this, but Oshawott is not very fond of asking for help. He can do this himself. So before deciding, he's going to test our strength against us, and we're going to go into a battle with Oshawott. And if we win, he'll let us help him. So here we're going to go around. I'm going to wait for him to attack, and then try and attack him back. Before the iframes start, there's actually a little bit of time where I can try to get some damage in still. And there we go, that's Oshawott. That's a somewhat slow fight, but we made it work. So now Oshawott concedes, and he's going to become a party member for us. And this is actually the first point where we can actually start switching party members. We'll have 4 total party members over the course of this run. Oshawott's the first one's going to join. And that way, because of that, the game doesn't actually call it a friend, but rather a pal, because he's gonna be part of our team. Now, Oshawott's actually the slowest character to walk around with, so we don't actually see Oshawott that much in the overworld. But he's the only one that can swim, and he's also the strongest one in battle, so we'll actually be using Oshawott quite a lot for battles. So here we have to first switch, rather than first walk up to the water and then switch. Otherwise, a cutscene will play telling us again how to switch Pokemon. And we're going to go over to Alomomola and talk to him. Now, Alomomola mentions that she might know where Sandile and Crocorock are at, but, you know, he won't tell until we beat him in a chase. And there we go. That's the chase with Alomomola. Now, ideally, you wanted to hit Alomomola directly, but if you barely miss it, you can generally go around it and still get it pretty quickly. Now, Alomomola mentions that Sandile and Crocorock, they actually went over to Cove Town. And we can get to Cove Town by following the end of the tunnel, going all the way up the hill. So that's just what we're going to do. Now, there's basically 2 paths I can take here. I can either go back to the beach on my right, basically, or I can go all the way around swimming and then get to the beach on the other end. And it's going to be a little bit easier for me to just swim around here. So we're going to do a little bit of swimming. We get to see Oshawott get some screen time. And then we're going to hit the beach over there. Now, you also may just have noticed that a new Pokemon spawned. As you make more friends, more Pokemon can start spawning, which you can then befriend even more. We're actually not going to befriend that many, because we don't really need to. But there is also the Old Friends category, which is quite a bit longer than this, and it's all about, you know, trying to befriend every Pokemon in the park. Now, Timber mentions that in order to get to Cove Town, there's a little bit of an issue because well, the cave collapsed, and he's going to need his tools in order to do that. And the tools can be found in the lighthouse. Now, on the way to the lighthouse, we're going to try to make another friend, and this one's actually a little bit RNG heavy because I need to find a Pat Rat. I hope there's a Pat Rat over here somewhere. Okay, I'm seeing the Pat Rat over there. They're a little bit further away than I'd like, but at least it's still on the way. So we give Pat Rat the beach ball back, and now Pat Rat becomes our friend. Pat Rat is the only friend that we're going to get along the way that isn't a required one in order to open up the doors, but this one makes opening up the door in this first park quite a bit easier. And since this is actually one of the harder ones, it's kind of nice to have, especially in a marathon setting. Because every time you fail to open the door, you lose about 20 to 25 seconds, so we want to avoid that. So coming up on the lighthouse, we've got our very first platforming sequence. There's actually quite a few of these as well in the run. Every area will have one that we need to do. And this one's actually pretty easy. We just have to get to the chest at the end. In general, all of these are pretty easy. So we also have these are, or there is a timer for this part, so we only have so long to get to the chest. But there's really only one where that's a little bit difficult. Most of them, it's pretty easy. So we switch to Oshawott for the water sequence, switch back to Pikachu, and we're going to go up. And there it is. Easy. Now we can go give it to Timber, and once Timber has the hammer, he can fix the tunnel, and we can walk up. Now, on the way to Cove Town, we're also going to pick up an extra chest, just for our berry management. And then in Cove Town, we have to go fight Crrool and Sandile. And I guess while we're making our way there, Sniper, if there's anything you want to talk about, go ahead.
Okay, well, we don't have any donations yet. You can consider using your Twitch Prime on this channel as well. You'll be able to both support ESA and BSG and get access to both emotes. Also, be sure to stay updated with our events by following us on Twitter and Instagram under the handle BSG Marathon. Get a behind-the-scenes look of events and stay up to date with the latest news on our marathons, events, and more. We would also like to thank Nintendo Core for sponsoring prices. Nintendo Core is an online store that sells Nintendo goodies and all sorts of other merch. Be sure to check them out at nintendocore.org.
Yes, here's the chest that I was talking about. We're going to pick that up. It contains 100 berries, so it makes the berry management for later a little bit easier. We'll use that to buy a speed boost, which is just going to mean that we're going to be able to run around faster later on. So right here we've got the transition to Cove Town, now that we've made it all the way up the hill. And in Cove Town, this is where we're going to find the Sandile and the Crrool. Now, as we get into the battle, the game mentions something about type effectiveness. You see, Sandile and Crrool are both ground types, so our electric attacks won't actually really do anything. So instead, the game suggests we switch to Oshawott because that's a water type, and that way it's super effective. It's just a little way that the game implemented type, or the same type effectiveness as from the main series games into this this little side game. Okay, so here we go. Talk to Crrool. Now you'll see with Oshawott, this fight is actually really, really fast. With Pikachu, it's pretty lengthy, but with Oshawott, I think Crrool only takes 2 hits to go down. So here they tell, you know, about how our electric types won't do anything. We get to fight Crrool. Now immediately as we start the fight, I'm going to shake the controller to do our Razor Shell move. There we go. You see right away that does like 50% damage. And another one, and that's the fight. So that's the quick kill on Crrool right there. So Crrool mentions that the reason that he's been sending Pokemon into the Wish Park is because Gothits have promised him a lot of berries for it. And he also tells us that in order to open the door, we need to have friends. And the more friends, the easier it is. And with that good a fight, you know, Crrool decides to also become our friend. So now both Crrool and Sandile become our friends. There's one more friend that we're going to get along the way before we're going to open up the Wish Park. But first, we're going to go back to Seasong Beach. You might have already seen the Raichu running around here. Once you befriend Raichu, I can use Raichu to make Pikachu stronger in battle. We're not going to do that because we only need to really upgrade Oshawott since that's our main fighter throughout the run. But there are categories where we do actually upgrade Pikachu as well, especially in the Old Friends run. We get a quick little loading screen, and then it's off to making our next friend. And this next friend is actually kind of hidden. You can only access it once you have access to the hill, because we need to actually fall down here. There's Petalil. So here we're gonna talk to Petalil. Petalil is another chase, but Petalil mentions, you know, Petalil is it's pretty slow, so it's only gonna give us 2 seconds to finish this chase. And that's it. That's the entire chase. I actually got pretty unlucky there because he moved slightly further to the left, because of which I had to angle my my movement a little bit. That's actually one that you can lose pretty easily if your angle is just slightly off. So now that we've befriended Petalil, we're going to fall down here. And we're going to go to one of the hardest things that we have to do over the course of this run, and that's opening up these doors. And this is genuinely pretty difficult. To open up a portal, you need the power of friendship, and the more friends you have, the easier it gets. Now, we only befriended a handful of Pokemon, so this is pretty tough. So I'm going to actually have to focus here for a moment. Essentially, all I have to do is shake the controller, but because of how few friends we have to shake the controller a lot to hit enough friendship points. But here we're going to greet all of our friends coming in. We got Patrat and Petalil, and the Crrool and Sandile and Timber. Alomomola is there as well. Okay, here we go. We have 15 seconds for this. Okay, there we go. We got it. Every time you fail that, it loses 20 to 25 seconds, because it's the 15 seconds for the screen as well as some additional load time. So it's really slow to lose these. Luckily, that wasn't the case here. We shouldn't fail on any of them, honestly, because this is actually one of the harder ones. So now we're going to go through the portal, and we're going to do Cake Contraption once again. And this time we do actually have to hit a specific amount of points, otherwise we won't be able to move on. Because Cofagrigus isn't actually going to challenge us unless we have at least beaten his attraction. And this is a thing that we'll see in all of the parks. In order to get to the Wish Bell, which is basically what undoes the spell, we have to finish the attraction, battle the boss, and that should give us access to where we want to go. Gotta dodge the Pelipper. Get over here, dodge Drifblim. Drifblim is going to play a pretty big role later on. Get to Cofagrigus, and it's time to play some Cake Contraption again. Now this time I can play as both Pikachu and Oshawott. We're going to just keep it on Pikachu. It actually doesn't matter at all which one I choose. So here we're going to go into Cake Contraption. We need 30,000 points in order to succeed. So let's see how many we can get. Yeah, that perfect score of 0 is not quite going to cut it anymore. So each pet rag gives 100. The red ones give, I believe, 300, and the gold ones give 1,000. After this first sequence, however, we won't quite have enough points yet. So we'll actually go into a second sequence where Pokemon are throwing up some stuff so that we can make the actual cake. So I actually don't really have to hit all of the Pokemon here. I just need to get some points. Okay, so more than 10,000 points coming out of this. Well over that already. So this is actually pretty decent. Especially trying to get the gold ones here, because those are really worth the points. Okay, we're already over halfway. So this is pretty good. Because this is really where you can get a lot of points. Every single one of these cakes I can hit twice. So basically what I do is I try to hit it and then hold my controller up just a little bit in order to get the second hit right after. Yeah, I heard the sound of a Yamask, which means Yamask is coming. And those things actually give 1,500 points if you get the complete cake. So they're quite useful here. It doesn't matter if I drop a few of these droplets. They're actually not a big deal at all. Got Vanillite with another golden one. We actually already have enough points at this point, so... But I always kind of like to see how far I can get in terms of points. Okay, that's 40k. Okay, 52,000 points. That's pretty good, actually. It's a pretty good score. So that is getting pretty close to double the amount of points that we would actually need in order to clear this attraction, so easy win right there. So now that that's done, we're going to go into the first boss fight of the game. There's 5 bosses in total that we have to get past. Cafagrigus is the first one. And, well, there's actually a few more, but like 5 main bosses, so to speak. So, Cafagrigus we're actually going to just do with Pikachu. At this point, Oshawott doesn't have any upgrades yet, so it's about as strong, and Pikachu is a little bit easier for us to deal with the first phase of this battle. Every one of these major bosses has 2 phases that we have to get through. So for this one, the first one's I have to get him off of his cake. And then after that, we get to the actual battle part. Okay, so the way we do that is we're going to go 2 full dash attacks into the cake. Then we're going to jump to the right to dodge his attack. And we're going to do the same thing again. And that's just enough to get him down before the Yamask's attack would hit you. And that gets you a 10-second kill, which is the fastest you can get. At least I think 10 seconds is the fastest. So now we're going to the battle with Cafagrigus. And again, we're going to use our dash attack as much as possible to get him down. Cafagrigus, if done perfectly, he won't actually be able to get a hit off, and you'll always get the dash attack before he gets a chance to attack you back. So this is why we just chain a bunch of dash attacks, and we should easily be able to get him. And there we go, that's Cafagrigus. So after beating the boss, he'll unlock the bridge so that we can get access to the Wish Bell. Now, in order to restore the PokéPark and, you know, save the world, we need to be able to ring all 4 Wish Bells at the same time, which means we first have to chain all 4 of the parts together, we have to beat the final boss, and then we have to go for the 4 wish bells. Okay, so here we go. We're going to just dash across here, jump up here, jump again, up to the wish bell, and ring it. And as soon as we ring the wish bell, we get the cutscene of this part of the PokéPark going back to normal again. Everybody's going to snap out of that cake that they were having. And they're all going to return to Seasong Beach. Now, the only one that kind of still wants to try the cake is Munchlax, but Watchhawk just gradually guides him out of that. Make sure that Munchlax doesn't eat the cake again. Now we get a little bit of an awkward movement after this. We now have to go back to Seasong Beach as well, but the easiest way to do that is actually for us to turn back after this cutscene. So Gafagrigas mentions that Piplup is in another zone, and he mentions something about the 4 zones and the Master, and about the bells and the other 3 attractions. And then, well, we see this one show up here. Gotharita. Gotharita mentioned that he's already talked way too much about this, and she's going to be teleporting Gafagrigas to her master. She also mentioned something about the Wish Palace, and that's where the final boss is at the Wish Palace. So here we have to jump up. We have to go backwards, jump up, and then basically we can just kind of take a shortcut through the remainder of the PokéPark, or of this part of the Wish Park. I think all of the Wish Park areas have such a shortcut. So Ashwat suggested that we go to Samurott, but before we do, as we go through the portal, we get to see Reshiram again. I believe this is a vision that Pikachu is having of a white Pokemon there. And Reshiram mentions that there's this big disaster coming, and that it might be quite a journey, and we have to join forces with all of our pals to save the park. Now, unfortunately, this cutscene is actually like hard-coded between 2 loading screens, so we once again get a loading screen as we get back to Seasong Beach here. We tell Ashwat about it, and Ashwat does recognize the description as the legendary Reshiram. But yeah, we're just gonna go to Samurott here. He'll know what to do for sure. Now, as we get there, or on the way rather, we also meet Drifblim, and Drifblim wants to help us out on our adventure. You know, he's grateful for helping us, or her for helping him. So he's going to allow us to fast travel between the areas of the PokéPark. Now, this does cost us a couple of berries, but it still saves a lot of time to use fast traveling. So very worth it. We're going to be using that quite a bit. But first, Samurott. So Samurott asks us to continue our investigation in the Arbor area. And the Arbor area is actually known for its fantastic attraction, because that's where the best part of the game is at. But we still have to get there first, so that's just before the next major boss. But in order to get to the Arbor area, we have to talk to Crocodile, or no, yeah, Crocodile, and he's in Cove Town. So we're gonna use Drifblim to get to Cove Town. Well, actually, in this one, it doesn't cost me any berries. That's PokéPark 1. I'm confusing the two. He's actually going to give us a free ride to Cove Town. Past the first time that you use the fast travel, you can actually skip this cutscene as well. So it becomes even faster to travel between the areas. The only time when we can't do that is after we've been to the Wish Palace for the first time, because then there's this. Well, you'll see. I'll not spoil it just yet. Okay, so here I actually have to double check to make sure that I get the correct upgrades. Okay. But yeah, we get to befriend the elemental monkeys here. Panpour, Panseer, and Pansage. And we're going to befriend 2 more Pokemon before we're going to head off both Dewott and Blitzel. Blitzel is where we upgrade our movement speed, but we're not going to do that quite yet. And Dewott is where we get to upgrade the attacks from Oshawott. Now I want to do Blitzel first. And the first thing that Blitzel teaches us is the Shake Sprint. And we actually need the Shake Sprint for one of the next pals, or for the next pal that we're getting, basically. So this is a little bit of an RNG heavy chase. So we have to Shake Sprint. Okay, that was really good, actually. That was only 3 seconds. That chase can easily go into 20 seconds if you get unlucky. So getting that within 3 seconds is really good. So now we don't have to worry about Blitzel anymore. But of course, in order to learn Blitzel's fast-moving options, we do need to pay him some berries. So we're going to get to Dewott. I was slightly too close to switch. We're going to switch to Oshawott. And this is one of the harder fights that we have to do, because Dewott is actually pretty tough. But Dewott is going to teach us in the way of the Watt. So we have to beat him with Oshawott. Now we do actually have to beat Dewott with Oshawott. We can't do this fight with Pikachu. So we wait for him to attack. We walk around. And we try to get the fight done there. Be kind of careful that I don't hit Audino too much. Okay, so I actually did get an extra hit in there, so that's nice. That should mean that I should be able to now finish Dewott. There we go. That's Dewott. Now we're going to use Dewott right away to get the Dash Combo 1 upgrade, which means that my Dash Combo will do just a little bit more damage than it did before. The Audino next to us, we're going to have to befriend Audino in a or we're going to get to Audino in a little bit as well. But Audino is the Pokemon that will increase your HP, which isn't actually going to be relevant in this run, because we don't really need those HP upgrades. Nor do we have the berries for it, for that matter. Yeah, the Dash Combo's power level is now up, and with that we're gonna go find Crocodile.
Do we have time for a couple of words?
Yeah, by all means.
So in about 3 hours from now, we will be starting the Yoshi Story run. But instead of any percent, you can still make it an all melons 1 lap run, which is still 178 euros away. And aside from that, there is also a color bit war, where pink is in the lead with 50 over blue with Chaz 5.
The Crocodile mentions that he won't give us access until we beat him. But before he beats us, he wants us to get Audino, you know, in case somebody gets hurt. That's clearly his intention here. So, we go talk to Audino. We convince Audino that Crocodile wants to see us. And she'll be on the way as well. She's going to actually follow us, but it doesn't matter if we just rush there. Now, just before we get there, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to switch to Oshawott, and I want to try to do that as late as possible without triggering the battle. So we're going to do that right around here. That's probably still a little early, but it's much better than having to do that with Pikachu. So Crocodile actually wants to try and impress Audino, and the way he thinks that's the best way to do is by beating up a bunch of kids. So let's get into the battle, and you'll see this battle is very similar to the battle from before against Crocorock, especially now that we can use our dash combo here. Now it doesn't matter if we take a little bit of damage, but that's the entire fight. So he's going to admit defeat. And, well, his pride is gone a little bit, but he's going to open up the gate for us. Gonna make sure that I don't forget to make any friends in the next area. The friend routing in Arbor is a little bit awkward because there's a few Pokemon that we want to befriend that are on the way and that are easy and that you'd expect to get, but there's also a few that aren't exactly like the first ones you'd expect, so to speak. But first things first, we're gonna switch back to Pikachu. And off to Arbor we go. Now, the Arbor area is both my favorite and least favorite area at the same time. My favorite in that it has the best attraction, and it's got some pretty cool mini games, and it's actually pretty alright. But my least favorite in that the music is really boring here, and as a result, this always feels like a bit of a boring area compared to the other ones. Which is a shame, because it really has like all of the potential to be really fun. Yeah, that's probably one of the weak points in this game.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, sure.
We have €5 from Deafline saying, "Good luck, Crrool. Super awesome to see PokéPark 2 in a marathon run."
Yo, Deathline. Deathline is actually... I'm using his route, and he's the current world record holder in the game, so pretty cool to see him show up. So we meet up Snivy for the first time. Snivy is you might have already guessed, but she's going to be our next pal. But before we do that, we're going to talk to Magikarp here. Magikarp is in a little bit of a sorry state here, stuck on land like that. Ask us to knock him back into the river. There we go. Now we befriend Magikarp. It's one of the quicker friends to get. Now, as a result, Kakuna is going to show up, but we're going to just ignore Kakuna pretty much. And we're going to turn around and talk to Zorua. Zorua is trying to find his friend or brother, or I don't actually know exactly what it is. Zoroark, okay, friend, who's gone missing recently. He went into the Wish Park, and since then he's just disappeared. But the poster is ripped, so there's not actually any way that we can get to the other side. So Snivy comes up all smug that, you know, Snivy might tell us where it's at. But Snivy wants to join the investigation. Because Snivy's been bored, basically. Now, first and foremost, we have to find Whimsicott. And I actually have to be a little bit careful because there's a Mankey around. And if you hit the Mankey on the way, it immediately triggers a battle. That actually happened in my PB. It was kind of a shame because it actually loses you a good couple seconds. So Whimsicott mentioned something about the berry party, and that part that was missing has actually been used as the invite. It's been given out by Queen Superior, so now we need to go find Queen Superior. In order to do that, we're going to go past this bridge. We're going to talk to Bisharp. And Bisharp won't let us pass. We're not from the Arbor area, so we have no right to do so. But then Snivy shows up and tells us that, you know, Bisharp should let us through. And since Snivy's the princess, well, easy said right there. So off to the other side, and let's go find Queen Superior. Quick little loading screen. Now, there are some Pokemon on the way that we're going to befriend, but we're not going to do that immediately. Because we actually want to wait until we have Snivy in the party. Snivy has the advantage of being the fastest of the characters that we're going to get. So we'll actually be using Snivy quite a lot throughout the run. Okay, but first, over here, we'll find Queen Superior. And Queen Superior mentions that she's given the invite to Deerling to be handed out. Now, Serperior already knows who Oshawott is because of the other area, basically. So Deerling should be on top of the hill, and Deerling should be able to get it for us. So we're gonna go find Deerling. Now over here we can jump into the water and get to the island in the middle there, where we actually will be able to find a chest with 200 berries, which is quite useful at this point to be able to buy the speed upgrade for later. So off we go. Switch to Oshawott. We're going to jump on here. We're going to get the chest and then immediately jump back in the water. We're not actually going to get out in the same part where we came in, because there's a little bit over here where we can get up, and that actually skips at least a little bit of walking around. Back to Pikachu right away, and off we go to find Deerling. Now, there are some Pokemon on the way. We're just going to ignore all of them. Here we are. So Deerling mentioned that you know, the invite is actually in this tree stump. So I got stashed here. We can try to get it, but Snivy suggests tagging along, and I'm okay with that. But Oshawott really does not like the idea. But I want to be pals with Snivy. But the condition is that we first have to beat Snivy in a chase. And like I said, Snivy is pretty much the fastest character that we're going to get. So this is actually where that Shake Sprint is really going to come in. So this is probably the hardest chase in the run. Maybe with the exception of Whimsicott. I really don't like the Whimsicott chase. Okay, there we go. 16 seconds is not terrible. I can live with that. Okay, so now Snivy is going to join our party. And like I said, we'll be using Snivy a lot throughout the run just because of how fast it is. Snivy also has the ability to do sort of a double jump, which is actually going to come into play here as well. Several of Snivy's ability basically come into play in this stump right away. Another thing here is that there are some elevators, and the only way to trigger the elevator is by doing Snivy's Leaf Tornado. So here's our second platforming sequence. Now right away I'm going to switch to Snivy here. We're going to use the double jump to get up on these platforms. Switch to Oshawott because we need to do some swimming. Switch back to Snivy. I'm going to attempt to get on the elevator right away as we get through here. No, I missed the jump. Okay, so by shaking the controller, I can do the Leaf Tornado. Okay, we made the cycle. Barely made it, but we actually made the cycle. That cycle is pretty hard to make, so kind of happy that we actually successfully got it. I think that's the first time I've actually gotten it in a run. So out we go. Now on the way back, we're gonna make another friend. I actually wanted to wait until we have Snivy. Also, you can probably immediately see how that Snivy is just so much faster in running around on the overworld here. But there's a Seismitoad over here, which we need to battle. And Snivy is, you know, considering it's a ground water type, Snivy's attacks are 4 times effective, making this fight super free. We're just going to charge at it, and that's the fight. So that fight is like less than 2 seconds, so it's just worth it to befriend this, really. It also gives a lot of berries, which makes the buying the upgrades we need later on quite a bit easier as well. Now, we don't quite have enough friends yet in order to be able to open up the gate now that we have the invite. So we're going to actually make some friends before we start opening up the gate. There's also another chest with berries along the way that I'm going to be trying to get. So first things first, we're going to go talk to Snorlax. Cottony was missing, and we were asked to find Cottony again. And then immediately Cottony shows up, and we have to do a chase with Cottony. And there we go. Pretty good. The little puffy balls that Cottony leaves behind is actually, they're going to stop my movement completely. So getting hit by those means we get slowed down quite a lot. So now both Snorlax and Cottony become our friend for that single chase. And this is why we want to go for this one, because it just gets us 2 friends, and it takes like 3 seconds if you do it well. So next stop will be Whimsicott, but on the way, we're first going to pick up the chest over there. That contains an additional 200 berries, so it's quite convenient to get. Requires a few switches, though. So lots of berries right there. Again, we're going to switch Pokemon back to Oshawott. And now I need to go find Whimsicott. Whimsicott is really the other very annoying chase that we have to do. But it is what it is, right? So here we go. Let's see if we can get Whimsicott quickly. So that's what I mean with it completely slows you back down again. Okay, that wasn't actually very good. Might be able to get Whimsicott. Okay, I'm kind of messing this up.
So while Crrool is trying to catch Whimsicott, I would like to remind everyone that we have a gigantic bit war going on throughout the week, which is for the second to last game, and you get to choose between Link, the Faces of Evil, or Zelda, Wand of Gamelon, for which one is being run. You'll see all the cutscenes. It will take about an hour. Right now, Zelda, Wand of Gamelon is ahead by €5.14, with 17 euros 14 cents over $12 or 12 euros even for Link, the Faces of Evil. Speaking of which, Crrool, which one of the two is your favorite?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I'm gonna have to go with Faces of Evil.
That's the only right opinion, in my honest opinion as well. Do with that what you want, chat, but
Okay, so I failed that one, which is really unfortunate because that just lost me a minute. This is why I said this is like we actually got pretty lucky in that Whimsicott ran into the Mankey at the very end, but it was too late. That's how I got it in PB, by having it run into Mankey. But luckily, the second time around, we got it really quickly, so that at least makes up for it a little bit. We didn't get stuck on Whimsicott too long. So it's immediately like 100 berries that we get out of Whimsicott, so it's quite useful. And now that we've done that, we're gonna get back to the portal. I do need to switch before actually interacting with the portal. So we're going to switch to Oshawott here, because there's another battle coming up. That's actually the only battle that I lost in PB, so can kind of make up the time here, so to speak. So the invite fits perfectly, but just before we go into the Wish Park, Bisharp and a bunch of Ponyards show up. They think we're trying to kidnap the princess, considering Pokemon that have gone into Wish Park have all gone missing. So they don't trust us, and they're going to stop us right here. Funnily enough, if you're Snivy, they will still very much fight Snivy. Doesn't really matter who you're playing as. But because steel types and grass types, you know, it's not a great matchup for us, so... And there we go. Pretty good fight. Didn't die, so that's something. So now that we've proven that we're strong enough, you know, it's all good. And it's time for us to enter the gate here. The Zoroark shows up. You know, he's been, because you know Zoroark is still missing. So let's see if we can get there, find Zoroark back for him. This means in just a moment we're gonna open up the portal with Friendship, just like we did before. And again, it's gonna be a pretty hard one because we just got barely enough friends to be able to make it work. Now, flying Pokemon have an advantage, so. This is also why the Whimsicott kind of matters. Actually gets us quite a boost. Okay, here we go. Now after this is where the random dancing starts to happen. We're getting pretty close to that. But first we have to open up this thing. Okay, got him. So yeah, we're going to enter the gate, and then we've got one more battle that we need to do, and then it's on to my favorite mini game in the entire game, where we have to do quite a bit of random dancing. Just good old-fashioned BSG style random dancing, basically. But yeah, before we get there, though, we're going to have to first fight Zoroark. And that is... It's not the easiest fight, but it's also not a very difficult one.
Do we have time for some quick words?
Yeah, sure.
Because I would like to let people know that by donating to the charity, you'll be eligible for one of the amazing prizes sponsored by Nintendo Core. Any donation will get you a chance to win off the prize of the day, and will also give you a 3 times bigger chance for the grand prize. And for the grand prize, you actually only have to watch the stream. So if you stay tuned, you have a good chance. Also, for more information about the grand prize, more information will be posted in the chat. We'd also like to thank Nintendo Core for sponsoring all of these prizes. Nintendo Core is an online store that sells Nintendo goodies and all sorts of other merch. Be sure to check them out at nintendocore.org.
Okay, so here we get the fight with Zoroark. This is actually why we stayed as Oshawott, because this fight basically happens immediately as we get back in here. Gonna have to dodge the attack. And for some reason, that's still a hit. That can happen sometimes. It's kind of annoying when it does. Okay, this is not a great start of the fight. There we go. That's more like it. And that's Zoroark. So it's kind of a shame that all of the people that wanted to join for the dance all disappeared, but in just a moment we're gonna enter the next attraction. And this is actually an attraction, like when I say random dancing, I say it mainly because this attraction actually does have a bunch of motion controls and whatnot. So we do actually have to dance around a little bit. So, yeah, Gothorita, you know, now that we've defeated Zoroark, controlling it won't be as easy anymore. So we've saved Zoroark. And now they're Zoroark and Zoroark can just get out, and you know, time for them to leave the Wish Park. We're gonna get 2 more friends out of it at least. So Zoroark mentions Chandelure's attraction. That's the one that we're gonna go for. But first, we're gonna switch back to Snivy real quick, as we do first have to get to the attraction. Yeah, that's a shame the Sudowoodo was in the way like that. And here it is. This is Chandelure with Dance Inferno. Now, for everyone at home, feel free to join in on this as well, because this is pretty great.
Do you mind if I walk over and join in as well?
Not at all.
Let's go, Tech Dusk. We can do this.
So once again, it doesn't really matter which Pokemon we pick. So we're just going to pick the first Pokemon we get, which is Pikachu. And here we go. So it's time for our... If somebody can turn the camera just a little bit up, we can actually all stand up and, you know, do this the old-fashioned way. Somebody's messing up. I'll sit down until they fixed it. I guess it's not happening. Now comes the real action. Oh, we missed the last one. Oh well. We can miss quite a few over the course of this. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. So yeah, 31,000 points, that should be more than enough to clear the attraction and move on. So yeah, that was Dance Inferno. And now that we're done with that, we're going to go into a bit of a music-themed boss fight. Now, just like the last big boss, this boss actually consists of 2 parts. In the first one, we have to fight a bunch of the music items, I guess. So we're going to switch to Oshawa. I want to make sure that I don't switch too late here, because this fight is really difficult with Snivy. And off we go. Now, since Chandelure is a Ghost Fire type, it's actually going to make the battle quite a bit easier, because we also have the type advantage here. So this is phase 1. The first thing that we have to deal with are the lamps. So yeah, this part is pretty straightforward. We have to destroy Chandelure's stuff. Yeah, that's the first 3. Okay, that's those. Now for the other 3. Now these boxes are gonna come towards us. They actually take quite a few more hits. I need to do a full dash combo on one of them to destroy it. Bit of a shame I got hit there. I dashed in slightly too early, so I'm probably gonna have to try and dodge this one. Yeah, I thought so. I knew there was a chance that I was gonna get hit because I didn't get the full combo off. Now the last thing is the disco ball up here. Now this one we're actually gonna have to dodge first. And once we have, we just turn around and we start doing dash combos into it. Okay, should be 2 full dash combos in already. And that's it. Okay, that's part 1 of this fight. Now for the fight with Chandelure. Now and again, we're going to immediately try and start with dodging one of his attacks, because if I don't do that, he will knock me away, and I don't actually get much damage in at all. Basically like that. I'm going to try to get at least the bigger part of the dash combo off there. We do that attack. He's gonna summon the Lampants, but there we go. That's the battle, and that is the second major boss out of the way. So just like before, we're going to be ringing the wish bell, and then it's on to the next area, because we'll be able to free all the Pokemon from the Arbor area. Now we hear this voice coming over from another Pokemon showing up right now. I actually get to see Gothitelle. And Gothitelle is like the assistant of the Grand Master of the Wish Park. And basically the goal for that the Grand Master has is to create a world where, you know, everybody is happy, but maybe the method of doing so is a little bit misguided, because mind control might not be the best way to do just that. We see Zoroark and Piplup and Zoroark show up, because Gothitelle is like, you know, I'll just deal with you. But then a lot of Pokemon show up, and with all of these friends, there's no way that Gothitelle has a chance against us. So Gothitelle just decides to leave.
Do we have time for some quick words?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to remind everyone that you are watching the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. We organize bi-monthly events in the Benelux for speedrunners, and we are currently streaming our annual event live from Hotel Asteria in Venray, the Netherlands. We would also like to thank the EGA, or the Esports Game Arena, for providing us with gaming monitors for the event. The Esports Game Arena is home to a variety of on-site gaming events in Alphen aan den Rijn, including our BSG bi-monthly marathons.
So here we switch to Snivy again just for the faster movement speed. And we ring the bell. And now all of the Pokemon that were forced into just dance forever are now free once again. So yeah, the first part of the Wish Park was all about cake, you know, having a lot of sweets, and now the second part was all about, you know, dancing.
Does that mean the random dancing is over?
That means the random dancing is over,
Aww,
yeah.
so sad.
So true, but yeah, not much we can do there, I'm afraid. Yeah, 2 more parts of Wish Park left, though. And Piplup here, you know, mentions that he's very glad to see us again, but he's actually not going to be leaving the Wish Park with us, because he's got stuff that he needs to do around here. Try and help the Pokemon of the remainder of the Wish Park. You guys are too late. The random dancing finished like 5 minutes ago.
Even Tech just joined in. You missed it. It was great.
Monka S. So yeah, Piplup is gonna stay here. We're gonna try and get to the other parts of the Wish Park outside of the Wish Park. Wait, you guys eat cake? Are you sure the cake was real? It wasn't any of the cake that was in this one.
They may have had the cake from the portal run.
Oh, that might be it. Yeah, that would explain a lot. So again, we turn around. We take a shortcut to get back to the arbor area. Now, the next area is actually probably one of the... It always feels like one of the shorter ones. We do get to see the most difficult battle in the game in that area, because there's actually one fight that's really annoying to deal with. But overall, this next area is actually one of the easier ones. But before we get there, we get another one of those visions, just like we had at Seasong Beach, where this time we get to see Zekrom. And Zekrom mentions that this dark vortex has appeared in the PokéPark, and you know, we need to connect the 2 worlds and, you know, bring peace back. I don't know, something like that, in order to prevent the dark vortex from swallowing the world. So just like before, the cutscene is like hard-coded into that part, which is kind of annoying, but so be it, right? I'm gonna quickly check to make to see whether I needed any upgrades, because I think I did. Yeah, we do. We're gonna go talk to Blitzel in a moment to get some dash upgrades. Make sure we can move around a little bit faster than we could before. So Serperior tells us of the legend and about what Reshiram and Zekrom are trying to do, or what they're all about, basically, and what this dark vortex means. And we get the idea to go to the crag area, which is the 3rd area. It's where Embor is at. Onyard kind of getting in my way there. Not a huge deal, though. This part is always further away than I think it is. Okay, time for Cove Town. And in Cove Town, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of a detour to get to Blitzel. And we're going to upgrade the dashing speed of both Snivy and Pikachu. We don't actually get to run around with Pikachu that much, but there's a pretty significant chunk of running around in the later half. And as a result, it actually ends up still being faster to get the dash upgrade for Pikachu at this point. Our Crocodile opens up the crag area for us. We get to see Pignite and Servine show up. Neither of which we're actually going to be befriending at all. We're going to we'll turn around, take that detour to get to Blitzel. All of this extra movement is completely worth it. We get so much extra movement speed that it just ends up completely compensating all the time we invest in this. So we're first going to teach Snivy to run faster. It's going to cost us 200 berries. Now you can upgrade more than once, but the more you upgrade them, the more expensive they get. And we don't really have the money to do that at this point.
Now, in the game, there might be a threat of swallowing the world, but we have the threat of swallowing a bunch of melons, because for Yoshi's story, the All Melons 1 Lap incentive is still 178 euros away from being met. And while you're raising money for that incentive, you are also already raising towards the Barney's Hide and Seek run, which will happen around 3 p.m. if we reach 4,000 euros total.
So here's the upgrade for Pikachu. Get that speed as well. And then we're going to dash into the crag area. And we're actually going to see our first legendary that we can befriend. A lot of the Gen 5 legendaries can actually be befriended. Zekrom, Reshiram, all of the elemental, whatever they are. The like Thunderous and Tornadus and whatnot. And there's another one in the crag area. And yeah, let's go visit him. But he's actually, first of all, he's not going to become our friend at first. He actually, because Tepig has gone missing, and he's actually been looking for Tepig and asks us to help to find it. But the way that he does it is a little bit counterintuitive in a sense, because in order to get to the crag area, or to Rockford Ridge, we actually need a password. And instead of just telling us the password so we can help with Tepig, he's just going to give us a hint. So this is Victini. And yeah, he suggests, you know, we look for Tepig, but he's not going to tell us the password to get in. We need a secret word. So then he's going to give us a hint, and it's not really a hint that helps us that much. So here, as we get to Bastiodon, we now need to give the secret word. Now, the motto is courage and kindness, and the hint actually was for the word kindness. Now, before we actually go there, we're going to talk to Bastiodon again with Oshawott and try and befriend him. See, the thing is, in order to enter through the next portal, we need a bunch of friends once again, and this time the thing that's going to help us the most is having Pokemon that are very, very heavy. Now, Bastiodon is a pretty heavy Pokemon, so it works quite nicely for this. Plus, it's a pretty quick fight, honestly. Just slightly off, but there we go. That's the Bastiodon fight. Pretty easy. I need to take a little bit of distance before I try to swap Pokemon, because otherwise I'll just fail at it. To check for collisions, the game actually makes sure that you can't swap if you're too close. That said, there is one part where you can actually swap Pokemon in such a way that you can clip through the wall. And in the World Record strats, it's actually used to save approximately like 15 seconds. The clip is really only worth it if you can get it consistently, and I'm not consistent at it at all, so I'm not going to be going for it. If you get it first time, it saves about 15 seconds. I believe if you get it second time, it still saves time, and then starting third time, it's about even. So realistically, not really that great to go for, but in any case, we see Darumaka here, and we suggest that he shoots the cannon, because we've been hearing a voice coming from the cannon. But then Tepig begs to not shoot the cannon, and, you know, we need to get him out somehow, right? And this is, after all, the easiest way to do just that. So we're going to shoot the cannon here. As I was supposed to switch to Oshawott before this, so I may have to redo the fight in a little bit. Because I think right now I'm on Snivy, which is actually not ideal for this fight at all. I might quickly see how much damage I do, though. Yeah. That fight would take forever if we do it like that. I wasn't exactly sure how much damage Snivy would do. Don't usually forget to make that swap. That's okay, though. We're just going to re-enter the battle, but now with Oshawott. That was probably still worth it, so... You can see how much more damage we're doing instantly. And there we go, that's Tepig. So Croagunk is a little bit mad because he got hit by Tepig's attack. So we mentioned to Tepig that that Victini actually asked us to go look for him. And Tepig mentions that he's been trying to get into the battle tournament. And that's what we're going to help him on. Because it sounds like fun to join in on the battle tournament, right? So in order to do that, we need to first ask Embor for permission. Now, Tepig is actually the Pokemon we're going to be using the least of all 4 of our Pokemon. There's really only a handful of situations where we need Tepig. The downside of Tepig, it's neither the strongest nor the fastest, and we get it as the last one as well, which doesn't help either. Get up there. Now, the only thing that we really need Tepig for is that Tepig can do Heat Crash, which opens up certain areas, and Tepig can use another attack to break these rocks. And there's quite a few of these rocks that are going to be in the way for which we need Tepig. So it's really only if we get into a situation where either of that is the case that we end up switching to Tepig. And the first challenge here is to break this rock. So this is actually a case where we do need it. Now the other condition of joining the tournament is to get the Bravery Beard. And the way we get that is by shooting ourselves from the cannon. So we're going to do just that. Snivy. Do you want to fly by cannon? I mean, is this even a question? So here we go.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly. Best method of transportation, easily.
It's more fun because it's faster, right?
Exactly. So now that we've done our flight by cannon, we get to the next platforming sequence. Now here we're going to dash just a little bit with Snivy, and then I'm going to have to switch over to Tepig, because there are several of these rocks in the way that we need to use Rock Smash on. But Tepig is pretty slow, so even here it's worth it to just dash forward a little bit before we swap. I am going to just swap to Oshawott right away, because we need to do some water movement anyway. There's these mines along the way I'm going to try to jump over, which is actually easier said than done. Switch back to Snivy. I think this is one of the ones where we have the most swaps in terms of Pokemon. So again, we're going to switch back to Tepig. We're going to use Heat Crash to get past this one. And we need to actually go to Pikachu here. It's pretty difficult to make this jump happen with Snivy, but with Pikachu it's pretty easy. Oh wait, I went one too early. Thought that was the one. That's okay, your timing is pretty... Or the time is... It always feels like it's pretty tight in this area. So getting the extra clock isn't actually that bad a thing. Oshawott. Jump over the mine there. Back to Tepig. We're almost there. Luckily, the timer doesn't actually move as we are in the Pokemon selection screen, so to speak. Tried to jump, but I kind of failed at it. And there we go, the Bravery Beard. So yeah, that's kind of an annoying sequence, but we got through it, no problem. And now that we have both of the items, we can get Embor's permission to join the battle tournament. Now, in order to actually get to the battle tournament, we have to open up this giant door. You may have already seen it a few times. It's actually pretty close to the cannon. But in order to do that, we need to have Embor's permission, and then we can heat crash into a button in order to move on. So here we go. We got the Mark of Courage. And now Darmanitan should open the door for us. So this is the door we need to open. And once we get to the other side of the door, there's a bunch of Pokemon we need to befriend as well. There's a few that we have to get past. First, if you're too close to the button, you also can't swap, which is kind of annoying. So back to Tepig, open the door, and I guess while we make our way there, Sniper, you want to say anything?
I mean, I would like to remind everyone that we are the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. We organize bi-monthly events in the Benelux for speedrunners, and we are currently streaming our annual event live from Hotel Asteria in Venray, the Netherlands. We would also like to thank the Esports Game Arena for providing us with the gaming monitors we are using for the event. The Esports Game Arena is a home to a variety of on-site gaming events in Alphen aan den Rijn, including our BSG bi-monthly marathons. And I would also like to thank ESA for supporting the event and for allowing us to stream on their channel. And if you want to support both ESA and BSG ones, you can use your monthly subscription if you have Twitch Prime, or just sub to the channel. You'll gain access to both the BSG and ESA emotes while you are supporting us.
Okay, so now that this is done, we actually get to a very cold area where we meet Victini again. Victini mentions, or he's all happy that we managed to find Tepig, and now that we're in the battle tournament, it's all good. Victini's ability, supposedly, if you follow the main series Pokédex, is that it'll grant victory to or basically to anybody that uses it. So we're gonna get Victini's blessing in order to have a better chance at the Colosseum. It doesn't actually help us anything, but it's more so just a story point, I guess. So here we need to break this rock, and then I immediately will switch back to Snivy, because the next battle I want to do with Snivy. And this is actually a bit of an interesting little battle, because it's very different from every other fight that we do. So we fall down here. That gets us to Rhyperior. Now Rhyperior is jealous because we got the Bravery Beard and get to enter the battle tournament, but he didn't. So he's going to challenge us to a different type of battle, and we're going to have to fight him with both the Geodudes and Rhyperior. And we don't actually just deplete his HP. It's actually not possible to do that, but rather we need to knock him off the platform to win. Now, the reason we do this with Snivy is mostly got to do with its speed and its type effectiveness. I'm gonna run around here. And we actually use the Geodudes as sort of a bomb that we just chuck into him. And that's gonna knock, and the knockback will hopefully cause him to fall off. Or at least that's what we're trying to do. I missed there. Didn't quite get it, so hopefully on the next round. Crap, I knocked off the Geodude. This can happen. It's kind of annoying when it does. Yeah, this is a pretty bad fight, actually. There we go. Now, the other strat to do here is to just fight Rhyperior directly and just use the knockback from my own attacks to push him off, but it's still slower than using the Geodudes. So this just ends up being a slightly faster way to go at it. Okay, now that we're done with this, we're going to be heading on to the battle tournament, and that's actually where we're going to be facing the most difficult regular battle that we do. So we befriend that Rhyperior, we befriend Geodude. We kind of need both of these anyway in order to open up the portal. So past the bridge, we're going to just jump off. Now, unfortunately, it seems like we're too late, but there's a way around it here. Because this is where Ember is going to be opening the battle tournament. Now, the winner will get Victini's favor, which apparently is this is it's supposedly quite a big deal, but we don't really care about it. Now, the next battle is actually one, like, I can't seem to really get a consistent setup for it, or an easy and fast setup for it. I have a relatively consistent one for it, at least, though, so... before entering here, I'm going to be switching to Pikachu. I'll actually be doing the fight with Pikachu instead. So right here, we meet Hydreigon. Now, Hydreigon has the downside that he's up in the air, so a lot of our attacks wouldn't actually get close to him. Admittedly, I don't know if the setup that I'm using is the fastest one, but it's the only one that I've been able to consistently beat him with. Essentially, what it involves is we're going to wait for him to do a Draco Meteor. And hopefully try and not get hit ourselves. He is not quite... Okay, there we go. So while he does the attack, I'm going to charge up a Thunderbolt. We're going to hit him. And again. And that gets him knocked down, which allows me to do a full dash combo on him. And that deals quite a bit of damage. Hopefully the combination of this will be enough to actually get the kill on Hydreigon here. Okay, there he goes. He goes for another Draco Meteor. Double Thunderbolt and another dash combo on him. Okay. We need to do that, I think, 3 more times in order to get the kill. So, as you can tell, this is a pretty annoying fight. Okay, can you do another Draco Meteor, please? Yeah, I thought I'd get knocked back. It's okay though. Got some extra damage in, which can still be helpful. Okay, got him after just one. I missed him. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. Ah, so close. Okay, we got him. Still managed to get it. That is a really dumb fight. There's just really no other way to describe it. I really dislike this fight. With this setup, I've actually been able to get it pretty consistently, but it's really slow. So Scraggy runs in and mentions that he has his reasons to believe that Hydreigon has been cheating. Now he doesn't trust his strength to be able to deal with Ember, so he knocks open the door, and along with the other Pokemon here, they're going to kidnap Victini and move on to the Wish Park. So now Hydreigon and Haxorus are gone, and yeah, we're kind of stuck outside here. Now, before we're actually going to try and get Victini back, there's one more Pokemon I want to befriend. I need to actually go to Snivy for this. It's another chase that's coming up. Let's see, where's Breloom? So we want to befriend Breloom. Fortunately, Breloom is quite far away this time. So Breloom will also attack us as we try to chase him. He's going to be using Bullet Seed, which is going to make this a little bit more of a difficult chase. We have to try to dodge the Bullet Seeds as we go as well. But there we go. That was still pretty decent, especially considering I fell off there. But that actually allowed me to get up in front of him, so it might have worked out for the best. Okay, now that we've befriended Breloom, it's on to the door over here. Wrong way. Where is it? There it is. And we're going to call on our friends once again. And again, this is a pretty difficult portal to open. We actually have to open up this portal twice. The second time it will be a little bit easier because I have one extra friend in Victini. But yeah, no, this is a tough one. So gonna have to focus on this one again, because just like before, if we miss it, we lose about 20 to 25 seconds. So we don't want to do that. We get all our friends. We get Rhyperior and Breloom, Bastiodon, Geodude, but this is really all we have. This is why that Bastiodon and the Breloom mattered so much. Okay, we got it. That one's not fun. When I started learning this game, I actually struggled a lot with getting these open. It's still hard, but generally speaking, I can get them pretty consistently at this point. But they're not fun. So into the portal we go, and then time to enter part 3 of the Wish Park. And this is actually the part where we, I believe this is the part where we actually don't have to fight a secondary, or a second part. Because we actually, our boss fight is going to be first here. Normally, we first have to do the attraction and then the boss. But in the case of this park specifically, that's not really going to be the case. Because we actually start with the fight against Haxorus, who just kidnapped Victini. I'm purposely sticking to Snivy here, because Snivy is a little bit easier to work with on the first part, and then we're actually going to give up the fight on the second phase, swap Pokemon, and use a different Pokemon to take on Haxorus itself. So this time, Haxorus wants to take a turn. This part of the park, by the way, is all about fighting each other, because that's something Pokemon do for fun, apparently. So on to the battle here. For this particular battle, we actually have to dash through this entire part, try and dodge all of the enemies that are going to be attacking us, and then once we get to the end, we get a chance to fight Haxorus. And you might already be able to tell by the amount of enemies that you see here why I decided to pick Snivy for this part, and why it still ends up being faster to actually give up on the second fight and then swap Pokemon there. You just jump over the Sandiles. Unfortunately, Snivy can't jump very far. Snivy can jump higher than the others, but not further. So getting past these can actually be kind of tricky. We did get it first try there. Wasn't able to dodge the Darmanitan, sadly, but that's okay. That's... okay. So here we just kind of have to wait for the Bouffalons to pass us. And off we go. That was pretty good, actually. Only got hit once, and that's on a place where, you know, I kind of am used to getting hit there at least a few times. So just right away at the start of this fight, I'm going to say give up. We can't beat it. We choose a Pokemon, and we're going to switch to Pikachu. That only loses a few seconds, whereas Oshawott would have lost us quite a bit more. The reason we actually choose Pikachu here over Oshawott is mostly got to do with the moves that Haxorus uses. It's just easier to dodge that way, and we can generally get more attacks in as a result, which also results in quite a bit more damage. So now that we're halfway through the fight, Haxorus is going to power up. I was afraid that would happen. I didn't get a nice angle on the battle there. Okay, so we're just gonna get out of the way. He's gonna power up and then do a charge attack. And this is where Pikachu really comes in. Oshawott would have gotten hit there. That would have wasted more time. But that's the fight with Haxorus. And that's another one of the big bosses out of the way. Hydreigon and Haxorus kind of combined are the big boss of this area. Because this is actually where Gothorita's attraction is. Or, sorry, Gothitel's attraction is. We also now are going to see who the the Grand Master is. So, because Haxorus and Hydreigon are going to try to attack Gothitelle here. Because apparently, you know, they were promised to become more powerful if they took Victini here. But they're already as powerful as they're going to get in this area. So they try to attack, but yeah, the Grandmaster isn't going to stand for that. So here's the Master, Darkrai. That's our big boss. Yeah, Darkrai just gets rid of Haxorus and Hydreigon. And for us, it's now onto the attraction. Darkrai asks if we want to join. We just say no. We don't want to join him. And it's onto the Power Zone attraction. Gonna switch to Snivy here. Now this attraction, it kind of matters how well we do early on. This one's, this time around, I either have to attack the Pokemon in front of us, or if it's a bomb, we have to drop it through a gap in the floor, through a trapdoor. And the faster you are with it, the more points that you get for it. And by getting perfects, you can especially if you chain perfects, you can get a lot of extra points very quickly. But it's all about chaining perfects here. So here we go. If it's a Pokemon, we attack. If it's a bomb, we have to press A. Otherwise, that happens. That's not good right now. Because once you have enough perfects, you actually get an 800 bonus for every perfect tied into it still. Okay, so I did it wrong, but I think I already have enough points at this point. So I think you only need like 10k points. And we have well over 10k points at this point. I think we have like 3 times the amount we need. So yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, attraction is cleared. And with that, we can now ring the 3rd wish bell. And we've only got one more area left to go to before we can enter Wish Palace. Now the last area is probably one of my favorite ones. It's got a lot of Pokemon you can befriend actually, and it really feels like it's much more packed with Pokemon than the other areas. In big part also because there's more Pokemon, but the area is also quite a bit bigger. So around every corner you're able to find a few Pokemon. Yeah, Gothitelle just opens up the bridge for us. And now we can go over here, ring the wish bell, and all of the Pokemon that have been battling each other are now set free once again. You can see a few Pokemon that were fighting each other, like the Glaceon and Flareon here, Vanillite and Blossom, Mana. They're all going to be returning to the park. We also get to see Victini, who's been freed once again. So, happy times. It's all peace again in this part of the park. But strangely enough, we hadn't seen Piplup yet, who is supposedly running around the PokéPark. You see, the reason for that is, well, Gothitelle actually is gonna let Victini go, but in return, she's decided to keep this Pokemon and give it to her master. And that's it's supposed to send a message to not interfere with Darkrai's plans. So yeah, Gothitelle just kidnapped our good friend Piplup. So now Pikachu is all sad because Piplup's gone. And Ashawat suggests there might be another poster somewhere. Maybe there's another way to get to the last bit of the park and find our friend Piplup so we can actually save him. So in this area, I actually didn't have to turn around in order to take the shortcut back. The way that we were standing already put us in a good position to just instantly run to the gate back to Crag area. Now that we're out, Embor mentions that he's halted the battle tournament. But he's very proud of Tepik for having grown so much. Now a messenger came in and mentioned something about the Dark Vortex having appeared. That right there is the Dark Vortex, and once that thing gets too big, it'll swallow the entire park. And that's bad. So we kind of need to make sure that that does not happen. So Victini tells us that supposedly the portals are actually made in the Science-torium. So that's going to be the next area that we're going to have to go to. We also befriend Victini, and that's kind of nice because we have to open this door once again in a bit. But when we have to open it again, we'll have one extra friend in Victini. It doesn't help us that much because the main thing that helps here are heavy Pokemon, and Victini isn't exactly a heavy Pokemon. But it's still a little bit of a bonus. So we open up the gate just to create a shortcut for ourselves. That'll be useful later on as well. And we're going to make use of Drifblim once again to get back to the to Cove Town. Now I do believe that we do get another upgrade in a moment. So while this cutscene is going to play, I'm quickly going to make sure that, or whether or not we do.
Do we have time for some quick words?
Yes, sure.
Because we do have a bunch of incentives coming up. The any percent to all melons 1 lap upgrade for Yoshi's story is still 178 euros from being met. There is also a Yoshi color bit war going on where pink is in the lead with 50 euros, followed by blue at 5. There's also some other options that haven't been donated to, which are yellow, red, green, and dark blue. Also, later today, we have an incentive for Goat Simulator All Trophies, where you can get catified for 250 euros. And we have a bit war between Save or Laugh at the Humans, where Laugh is in the lead with 15 euros over Save, which only has 2 euros.
To be fair, I'm kind of okay with Laugh being in the lead. That should be.
I am also very okay with laughing at humans.
Okay, so here we're going to get Dash Combo 2. We now have enough berries for that. And that's going to make Oshawott dash combo attacks just that little bit stronger again, which is going to be quite helpful in the next area. There are several fights coming up relatively soon, so having that is kind of nice. We switch back to Snivy. And now that we're on Snivy, we're going to ask Crocodile to open up the last of the gates here. And Boral's already told him to give us access to the tech area. Now, of all the areas, tech area is by far the or at least it feels like by far the biggest of the areas. We're first going to get into the tech area itself, where there's this construction site with a bunch of trains and whatnot. There is the... then there's the I don't even know what it's called. It's kind of like the storage unit. Here's the train depot. And then there's the Sciencetorium itself. And all of that it's pretty big. We're going to have to go through this one piece at a time. First, we're going to take these elevators. There's a few items up there, but we don't really need those. And right as we get down here, we pretty much get into one of the fights that we have to go for. So I'm going to switch to Oshawott here. And now Girder is going to challenge us to a battle, because no intruders allowed. The tech area is in many ways... they're not as easily willing to help us. They need a little bit more convincing of sorts. So here I just need to wait for Girder to do his attack. And then when Girder is done, I can go in for the dash combo. And you can see right here how much damage that does. Like, that was nearly half on just that single hit. And that's the fight with Girder. So we actually managed to 2-cycle Girder, which is actually quite good. So before we're really going to be able to do anything, he's first going to have us talk to Conkeldurr. So we're going to make another trip over there. This part consists of quite a bit of switching Pokemon. Because before we're going to go to Conkeldurr, we're actually going to make a swap to Pikachu to get this train out of the way already. It's just more on the way now than it would have otherwise been. There's 2 trains like this where we need to use a lightning bolt in order to get a train to move. Make sure that we have some more room to work with, and yeah. So now it's switched to Oshawott. We're just gonna switch to Oshawott right away.
Do we have time for a quick announcement?
Yeah, sure.
So some of you might have already noticed that we are behind schedule, and in order to fix that, Bastion and the setup buffer of Pooh and Tigger Honey Safari have been removed. What that also means is that you have until the end of this run to get the any percent to all Melon's 1-lap upgrade met. So if you want to see that, be sure to get your donations in, because we sure as hell want to see that.
So Conkeldurr actually runs around or tries to get a lot closer to us than Girder did before. So it's a bit harder to dodge its attacks. So okay, I'm expecting him to... okay, he's gonna go for that. That's fine, actually. And that's Conkeldurr. That was a pretty good fight. Usually he does his spinning attack quite a few times, but this time he just did... he only did 1 spinning attack. So I think that actually made the fight a little bit faster than it normally is. Now, Conkelder is willing to help us a little bit, but initially he doesn't actually believe that the Wish Park exists. But we tell him that it's supposedly in the Science-torium, and he mentions that he had a suspicion something was going on. There's another problem first, though. The bridge towards the tech area is broken, so you know that needs to be fixed. And you know the Pokemon we need for that is the Timber. And that's actually the same Timber that we met before, so we're just gonna have to go over and ask nicely. We're going to take a ride to Seasong Beach, and hopefully we'll be able to get Timber to help us once again with this. So that was actually already one of the last trips that we used Drifblim for, because very soon we won't be able to use Drifblim anymore. Okay, so here we just have to quickly go over here, ask Timber. Now Timber needs some materials to work with, and we've decided, you know what, we're gonna ask Samurott, one of the area keepers, see if he can support us with some materials. Gets fixed as soon as possible. Luckily, Samurott is quite willing to help us with this. So, not a big deal. He's gonna send out requests to Superior and Embor as well. You know, this is a team effort, and in no time at all, the repair materials have arrived, and we get everything we need in order to help Timber. Now that Timber has his material, we're going to go over to Drifblim once again. We do notice that the Dark Vortex has started to grow quite a bit already. So that does mean that we are pretty much running out of time here. It's slowly but steadily getting bigger. So around to the other side. Didn't run into the sign, so that's a good thing. Nope. We want to go to the train depot now that all of the materials are there. So this time around, I can just skip the cutscene because it's a cutscene we've already seen before. So we just instantly get done with that. We do have to still go through the loading screen, but everything's pretty much fixed here. Quickly going to talk to Conkelder, and once we trigger the conversation here, we're going to get the cutscene of all of the new Pokemon entering the tech area, and all of these Pokemon will be available for us as potential friends now. We're actually going to be a friend to one of them. So yeah, here's the big train. We're gonna see quite a few Pokemon coming out of this. Now, one of these four we're gonna befriend, and I'll leave it to chat to guess which one it is. You'll see in just a moment. But first, we're gonna get the befriending from Conkelder, who, since we've helped fix the bridge after all, so he's now willing to become our friend as well. Now in this area, it's actually specifically the very small Pokemon that matter. Those are going to help the most with opening up the door. But Girder 2 is quite happy, so Girder 2 is going to be our friend right now. And he tells us that if we want to get to the Science-torium, we have to go to the Unaware House. Now, in order to get there, the guy we need to talk to is the Golurk over there. Okay, Gonna take it a little bit careful with the movement here because I don't want to fall off the train. It's happened way too many times in runs, so let's make sure we don't. Good. And now we're going to make our next friend. We're going to actually befriend something else before we go to Golurk. And let's see how well you guys paid attention, because we're actually going to do a quiz. So question number 1. So first he asks what the name of this area is. It's a tech area. Next question. Conkeller's apprentice in the Cove area. That's timber. And then how many trains can we move using electricity? That's clearly 17. So with that, we befriend Voltorb. And we can now move on to the other warehouse.
Wait, that's the tech area? I thought we were there.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Wait, I haven't seen any Pokemon here. What's going on?
I'm seeing Pokemon all around me. What are you talking about?
Guess they all moved away from the tech area. Kinda sad. I miss the plushies.
I mean, I've got Cubone and Bellsprout and Rowlet and
a
Totodile
Pikachu.
and Pikachu.
Everyone is here.
Gumi, and a bunch of other things as well, like Kirby and Sonic. So, you know, we got you covered.
I guess they wanted to join in the random dancing. I don't blame them.
Okay, this is... Actually didn't get too many hits off on Golurk yet, which is kind of annoying. Okay, we can actually get the help of one of our Pokemon here. He's going to do quite a bit of damage. At least that helps out a little bit. You always get a friend to help like that when you get too low on health. Okay, we got the kill. A little bit clutch, but it worked out. Now, Golurk is going to open up the unaware house for us in the easiest way to do that. Because, I mean, the only way that you should open up a warehouse like that is by just pushing a train through the door. That clearly is the way to do that. You gotta love how all of our pals are just running next to Golurk as he pushes a train through into the unaware house like that. You'd think you could also just open the door, but that'd be too easy, I guess. Okay, so we're going to switch back to Snivy because we're done with fighting for a little while. And onto the unaware house. Now we're going to make quite a few friends actually in the unaware house compared to most of the areas that we've been to. It's definitely one of the areas where we get the most of our friends. The first thing we're going to see here is Solosis. And Solosis supposedly reads our minds and then just says, "You're looking for something." I mean, we just pushed a train to get through the door to get in here. Yeah, I imagine we do. But we mentioned to Solosis that we want to get to the Sciencetorium, and we need to get through there apparently through the second floor here. So let's just get up there. Now this is actually a lot... I always found this a lot more difficult than it looks. Because there's a lot of these platforms that you kind of have to go through. They're not too difficult, but if your angle is off, it's very easy to overcompensate and fall off and have to redo the entire thing. You know, we just gotta make sure that our camera angle is good. No, see, that's what I mean. You tend to just overcompensate for it way too quickly. I'll just not go for dashing, I guess. Okay, we should be good here. Not go for dashing. First thing I do is dash. Come on, There we go. I kept dashing past the thing. So we can't actually go back the same path we came. But instead, we're going to go over some crates over here. Dash into the lever over here. Come on, can I not keep dashing past this, Snivy, please? There we go. Okay, that went kind of poorly, but whatever. Now that that's done, we just have to get to the other end of this. We're going to switch to Tepic because we actually need Tepic in order to be able to open this door. Takes quite a few hits before it opens up. And now that the door is open, hopefully we can get to the Sanatorium. But just as we get down, we actually get into the next problem. It turns out that Clink, Clang, and Clink Clang, they've been in that machine for way too long, and they don't want to do that anymore. They're done with it. So now that the door is open, you know, they are free, and they're going to use that to, well, escape us. Now we can't open the door. So Duosian tells us that we do need the entire Clink line. We need all three in order to do that. Without having them, it's not gonna work. We need to find all three. Now the first one's right over here. We find Clink. On the way to the third one, we're also going to be picking up another chest with 500 berries. Hopefully that'll give me enough to get the third dash combo on Oshawott. This one does require me to walk over this a little bit. Yeah, we should be good here. So Clink Clang is over here. That's our second one. We basically we explained to him what happens, and he can't resist helping us now.
Do we have time for some quick words?
Sure.
I would like to let everyone know that we are raising money for the Dutch Cancer Society, a nationwide organization committed to fight cancer while aiming for more cure and a higher quality of life for those already battling the disease. Also, by donating to the charity, you will be eligible for one of the amazing prizes sponsored by Nintendo Core. Any donation will get you a chance to win one of the prizes and will also give you a 3 times bigger chance for the grand prize. And that's right, you don't even need to donate to win that. For more information on the grand prize, will be posted in chat by the BSG host account. And just follow the link in chat for more info.
Just have to go past the platforming here. And then once we're past it, we've now rescued all three of the line. And that should now finally give us access to the Sanatorium, where we can open up the last part of the Wish Park. And that's basically where the last sequence of the game is kind of gonna get started here. We still got a little bit of content left, but we're getting closer in on the end by this point. What's the time at? 2:14. It's pretty decent. So yeah, Clink Clang, this is clearly how you open a door, by the way. With the electricity and the explosions, that's definitely how this door has to be opened. So that was the last time they were going to open the door. They're done with that, but we're going to get 3 more friends here. And that's the one advantage of the tech area. You get quite a lot of friends along the way, so opening up the door later on isn't actually as difficult as it is with most areas. Now we've got access to the Sanatorium again. Takes a little bit for this elevator to open up. And now we're going to get to part 3 of the tech area. Now the Sanatorium is by far the smallest area, or the smallest sub-area, rather. It's actually only got a couple of hallways. There's very few Pokemon in here. It's really not much that we have to do. But we do meet with another big player in the scene, so to speak. Right here we meet Reuniclus. Reuniclus tells us that in order to open up the door, he needs this thing. The name is slipping me. Like, without it, we can't even get that far in the first place. And that's where our fourth and last platforming sequence is going to go in. So yeah, Reuniclus is basically going to tell us that we need to ring all 4 of the wish bells. Because they regulate time and space and whatnot, and supposedly that works. Reuniclus comes off as a bit of a weird one here. So we need some kind of collider in order to be able to open up the portal. So we're gonna go back here. It's right around the corner, luckily. It's pretty easy to get to the lab. And this is where the longest platforming sequence is at. There's still quite a lot of character swapping in this part. By this point, you're supposed to have all 4 of them. The game kind of explained the other ones earlier, so by this point, we just have to get around to the chest. So let's see how well it's going to go. So we're just going to rush up here. I'm going to use Leaf Tornado on the elevator thingy here. I unfortunately missed the cycle there. So here we're going to have to switch to Tepic to do another heat crash. That's going to make us fall down quite a bit, but that's not really too big a deal. I guess we just have to go that way. We just rush up ahead, basically. Because here we need Tepic anyway. We need to get rid of that one. All of the other paths kind of lead to like extra timers and berries, and we don't need them specifically for this part anyway. Maybe I should go to Snivy. With that, we just already unlocked the chest. And we got the Citron Collider. Now, there's one more mini game coming up as well that we get to do. And this one's actually probably one of the most fun ones to go on. It's really wacky, but despite that, it's actually it's fun. So we go talk to Reuniclus. He's going to use the Citron Collider to help us be able to open up the portal. And then we're going to go full focus again to try and open it. Now, this of the 4 portals that we've opened so far, this is actually the easiest one. Like, by quite a long shot, too. But it's still rather difficult all the same. Like, it's still going to take quite a bit of shaking, considering we don't really have that many friends with us. Okay, so let's say hi to all of our friends. And you'll immediately notice that the group is quite a bit bigger than it was so far. Okay, here we go. Got it. Okay. That's the before last door that we had to open. So far, so good. We had a bit of a rough start with that one, but made up for it just fine. So the last Wish Park keeper that we haven't met yet is going to be Sigilith. And it's of all of the later Wish Park bosses, or pretty much all of the bigger bosses that we fought so far in general, it's actually one of the only ones that we don't do with Oshawott. It being a flying type means that Pikachu is going to deal a lot more damage to it, which is quite handy for the boss. Now, in the part before it, there's kind of a decision that I have to make. We can either go with Pikachu there, or we can go with Snivy there. Snivy has the advantage that it can kill, because there's 2 enemies there that I have to kill. And the very first one's really easy to kill with Snivy, but then the second one is really difficult as a result. Whereas with Pikachu, both are kind of difficult, but neither is that bad. It's kind of an annoying little thing. But in any case, before we do, we get to the flight zone, and we get to do Flight of Fancy with Sigilith. And this is, yeah, you'll see. This one's quite wacky. Again, it uses motion controls to steer, so we'll be doing more of that. And then the goal is to grab enough gems that we can continue. Now, additionally, if I go through the circle, we actually get 5 times the normal amount of points for these gems. So we want to try to hit all of them. I believe it also gives a very, very small speed boost, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So, see the Wailord there. Now, all of these rounds are going to be slightly different. The first one's mostly just the yellow gems, which are actually the best ones. So the first round is really where I want to get the points, or at least the majority of them. But I believe we actually already have enough points as it is right now. In the second round, we're going to also start seeing some other gems pop up at some point. I believe we'll start, and we'll see that they're not always lined up as nicely anymore. A bit of a slowdown there again because we missed one of the circles. Okay, so not actually any. I thought there was the other gems as well, but so that crystal can actually block your path there, which does lose time. And in the third phase here, Seismitoad is going to start tossing out a bunch of random gems. I don't know if they're actually random or if it's always the same one. I never really looked enough into it. Yeah, at this point we already have enough points, so just trying to hit the circles to make sure that we, you know, we get all of, or as many of the speed boosts as possible. Okay, there we go. 36,000 points. That should be more than enough to clear the attraction. And now that it's cleared, we're going to move on to Sigilith. Okay, Flight of Fancy is done. Get to see another loading screen, and we're going to almost immediately swap to Pikachu. We're actually going to do the first half of Flight of Fancy with Pikachu. The reason that Pikachu is probably the faster one, although, like I said, it's really close between Pikachu and Snivy, is that doing a swap beforehand is a little bit faster than having to do a swap during a battle. Because swapping during a battle means I have to give up, it gets you the 3-second countdown again. Whereas here, it's just a regular swap, basically. So yeah, Sniper, I guess while we make our way up, go ahead if there's anything you want to talk about.
There's one thing I want to talk about, because since we've been behind schedule for most of the night, we have removed Bastion and the setup buffer, which was Pooh and Tigger's Honey Safari, which means that you only have until the start of Yoshi's story to raise another 178 to upgrade the category from any % to all melons 1 lap. Do we have time for more? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Then we would also like to thank ESA for supporting the event and allowing us to stream on their channel. You can consider supporting both at the same time as well by subscribing to the channel. And if you have Amazon Prime, be sure to link it to your Twitch account to get a free sub every month.
Okay, so here you kind of just have to try and dodge most of the Pokemon of it, but I've been doing pretty bad at the dodging part. Which might be a problem here for Seismitoad. So yeah, electric attacks don't do anything, so mostly we're just using Iron Tail to try and deal enough damage to Seismitoad. It was just slightly too far away for that to hit. Now there's another battle later on as well, so I really need to try and manage the amount of damage that I've taken by this point. Okay, there we go. That's Seismitoad down. That's not to say we're done here. Not at all. These are going to try to use self-destruct. Okay, and then here we've got this thing. Forgot its name. But the downside of this part is we don't actually know how much health they have, so we kind of just have to guess. Ooh, that was a pretty bad hit. Ooh, this is bad. Trying to take this very carefully right now to try and not die, but it's easier said than done. Crap. Yep. That's too bad. Sniper, if you want to talk about stuff while I redo this sequence, go ahead.
Sure. So aside from Yoshi's Story All Melons upgrade, there's also a bit war going on between the Yoshi colors. Let me fetch the ones real quick. Pink is currently in the lead with 50 euros. Blue is second with 5. And we have 4 other colors that haven't been donated for, which are yellow, red, green, and dark blue. Also for Goat Simulator later today, we have the incentive to get catified for 250 euros, and we also have the incentive to save or laugh at the humans, where laugh is ahead at 15 euros, and while save is at 2. Also, a little bit later on, for like Rayman Free, we have a glitch exhibition, which is just about 100 euros away from being met. And there is also noise skip for Zelda's Adventure Any Percent, which is still 130 euros away.
Okay, so we got past Seismitoad pretty quick. I decided to swap to Snivy, try it with that. Because sometimes Snivy can be easier to work with. But the Drodegon here, that's what it was named, becomes a little bit harder using Snivy, so... Let's see if we can get at least a little bit of a better fight here.
So there is one little incentive I'd like to mention as well, which is for the second to last game of the marathon, where you actually get to choose between 2 games. Yes, indeed, you, the viewer, have the choice to either let Grumpmeister play Link, The Faces of Evil, or Zelda, Wand of Gamelon. Both of them will show all the cutscenes, and The Faces of Evil is currently ahead at 29 euros and 15 cents over... Wand of Actually, no, I'm wrong even. Wand of Gamelon is ahead at 17 euros and 14 cents, while Link, The Face of Evil, is behind at 12 euros. And honestly, either one is great. I do love me some CDI cutscenes.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay, so we've now finally reached Sichilith. That took a little bit longer than I wanted to. Because I decided to do it with Snivy, I have to do another Pokemon swap here. So we have to actually give up on Sichilith, choose a Pokemon, and swap back to Pikachu. So the main idea here is that we're going to try to use Thunder Shock as much as possible, because that's going to actually deal super effective damage. So I'm just positioning myself underneath it, use Thunder Shock, and then just try and do a dash combo to round up the damage, basically. That's another one, and the final thunder. There we go. Okay, so at least it was a good Sigilith fight. That was painful, but we got through it. So now we just need to ring the 4th wish bell, and once we do, the 4 pieces of the wish park will actually get together, and we'll finally gain access to the wish palace, which is where our final boss is going to be. Now, we're not actually going to fight the final boss on the first visit, because we actually visit the Wish Palace twice. You'll see soon enough why. But first, we ring the bell. We get all of our Pokemon snapped out of it. You know, make sure that everybody can return to the tech area. So all of these Pokemon that were just flying around, even though they can't fly, all drop to the floor now and make their way back. And now we're gonna get to see the Wish Park finally get together. We also see Sigilith apologize to his master and mention that the entrance to the Wish Palace has opened. So all the pieces are just getting together here, one by one. Now once all the pieces are together, the central star in the middle of the Wish Palace is where we, from where we can enter the Wish Palace. It's also at this point that it doesn't matter really anymore where I go into the Wish Park. I can actually travel around in Wish Park as well between all 4 of the earlier areas. Which is mostly just a convenient thing. It doesn't actually help us that much, but it can occasionally be kind of convenient that I don't have to travel to different parts. The main thing is just that from every area I can get into the Wish Palace. So let's do that. I'm actually not going to be swapping right now because I need to keep Pikachu for the next fight anyway, and Pikachu is still pretty fast. I don't know for sure if it's worth it to swap it here. It might be. The difference probably isn't that big though. So Gothitelle shows up again with her 2 cronies. And, well, here it is. Proceed into the Wish Palace. Now we have a little bit of an unexpected Pokemon sitting on the throne in Wish Palace. Because the first time around that we visit, we don't actually get to see Darkrai immediately. There's actually another Pokemon that we're going to see momentarily. So, yeah, who could the big boss be of the Wish Palace? Well, as we get to the top, we see Piplup sitting on the throne. Because plot twist, Piplup is actually the boss. Well, sort of. Piplup is being mind-controlled by Darkrai. And Piplup, suggests, you know, how about we're just gonna stay here forever and be happy together. But we're gonna deny. Oshawott immediately notices that Piplup is acting very weird. It's very similar to how Zoroark was acting earlier. And, well, as a result, we're now gonna have to fight Piplup. I'm gonna wait for Piplup to do his attack. It is a water type, so our attacks do quite a bit of damage to it, luckily. Okay, got that second Thunder Shock in. Okay, I've never seen Piplup go into this hallway before. It's kind of throwing me off here. I've legit never seen Piplup do that. I mean, it worked out, but still. So yeah, now that Piplup is defeated, he snaps out of it and realizes that we've just been fighting Piplup. So now he's sad because he thinks we hate him. And then just as he runs away, Darkrai and Gothitelle and whatnot will show up. And they've got this one final evil plan to make sure that we can't stop him. You see, you know, we gain our power by the power of friendship. And if that means that if we don't have any friends, you know, we can't stop him. So what he's going to do is he's going to take away the memories of all of our pals. As well as Pikachu, for that matter. So, you know, it'll be as if we don't remember it all. But initially, he first just starts with our 3 pals. Make sure Pikachu feels very lonely here. We're going to talk to Oshawott, who doesn't recognize us at all anymore. He asked us to get to Seasong Beach. He was working on some investigation. Tepig also has no idea what's going on. Snivy is wondering why we give her such a weird look. All of their memories have been taken, and now I will be alone forever. So now Darkrai does something somewhat similar, and he's gonna set us outside back in Cove Town, completely without friends. Because now that we don't have friends, all of our power is gone as well. So, a little bit happens here in the meantime, because we like I said, we get sent back to the to Cove Town, and things are very sad right now. Pikachu is very lonely. We kind of get to see that here. So he can't find any of his friends in Cove Town. He's just running around, but there's nobody there. So he finds himself at the fountain, and even here there's no friends. Everybody's gone. So, yeah, Pikachu's just, it's really sad, honestly. And it starts to rain. Now, as that happens, there is something actually going on, because, you know, it's not all over. Pikachu might be super sad, but there's another Pokemon that meant to help us. Yeah, Pikachu, we see Pikachu cry here. But just then Piplup shows up. And Piplup reminds us that, you know, we're not alone. We do have a friend. So Pikachu gets all happy again. We see Zekrom and Reshiram fly behind us in the back. Piplup mentions that this there was this black Pokemon and this white Pokemon that you know, that told him to go find us, to remind us that, you know, we have a friend. We're not all alone. Piplup also mentioned that he was embarrassed and sad after he had fought us. But, you know, we're friends after all. Now, Piplup also mentions that we should find our other pals. You know, remember, or make them remember why we became friends in the first place. So, let's go get our other friends. First things first, we're going to start off with trying to find our Oshawott again. Now, it's for this this specific piece of running around that we actually got the dash upgrade earlier on Pikachu. Because you actually run around enough here for the increase in speed to be worth it, despite it costing a decent amount of berries. Especially now that we can't actually use the fast travel anymore because the Dark Vortex is too big for what's his name to decide to travel around. So we find Oshawott here. And Oshawott is like, he feels like there's something there and there's a case to solve, but he just doesn't remember anything about it. So we suggest we do a battle, you know, get him to take his mind off of that for a moment, and hopefully that battle will remind him of why we became friends. I mean, that is how our friendship started. So we beat up Oshawott again, and now that we've fought Oshawott, he will remember why we became friends. It's all very clear again. So now once again, Oshawott is gonna join our party, become our pal once again. And he suggests that, you know, Snivy is probably at the stump in the Verdant Court then. I mean, he was at the place where we first met, so maybe Snivy is too. So we're gonna go back to the Arbor area. I'm gonna see if we can find Snivy. Just making our way up the hill here. Go through Cove Town. This is the downside of not being able to fast travel anymore. But unfortunately, Driftblim will tell us that because of the vortex, it's just too dangerous. Let's see, how are we doing time-wise? 2:43. Cool. Should be sub-estimate then, because there isn't that much left at this point. Okay, so we're going to run all the way through town. And then all the way to Verdant Court. Now, Verdant Court is where that glitch is that I was talking about earlier. So for those that missed it, basically what we can do here is after we pick up Snivy, we can clip through a floor somewhere, and that'll set us back to the start of the Verdant Court, which saves approximately 15 seconds of running around. It's not a huge time save, but with optimal strats, it is possible to go for it. With how inconsistent I am at it, I definitely won't, or I just won't be able to get that fast enough for it to be worth it, though. I might give it one shot, see if we can get it, but I highly doubt it'll work. Basically, what you need to do in order to get to it is you get to the very edge of a ledge, and as you're on the ledge, you use the character swap, which normally checks for walls and whatnot. That's why walking into walls isn't really much of a thing. But because it's a ledge instead, it can cause you to, if you're on exactly the right pixel, it can cause you to clip through the floor. Yeah, it's a really small glitch. Like, we don't really use it too many glitches in this, and that's the only one that's really worth it. So we're going to run all the way around the water here. That should get us to Snivy. With Snivy, we can also start running a little bit faster again, which is a nice little bonus. Basically, the ledge over on the right is where that's a thing. So we meet Snivy, and Snivy doesn't remember us either. But what she does remember is that things seem to be so bright and exciting, and now everything's boring again. Now, the second chase is quite a bit easier because we got a dash upgrade since the last chase, and Snivy won't actually run any faster than it did before. So there we go. Now it only took us 6 seconds instead of like 14. But as a result, Snivy does remember us again.
Hey, Crrool.
Yeah.
Do we have time for a lot of hype? Because we have a €100 donation from Grumpmeister saying all melons and let's find kids with Barney. Wait, that sounds wrong.
Woo! That's quite hype. That means we're only like 500 away from the bonus game as well, right?
We are indeed, and we're also €78 away from meeting the All Melons incentive, which is a full category upgrade. And I'm seeing RDV in the chat going, or in the crowd even, going absolutely ham.
Yeah, that needs to happen, honestly. That one's hype.
Melons are great.
Oh, for sure. It's a fun run.
Good healthy fruit.
True.
It's a good change of pace from the infinite cake at Wish Park.
That's for sure. You might not want to take the infinite cake at Wish Park though. I mean, I know the cake wasn't a lie like it was in Portal, but I mean, I'm not sure if this is much better.
Yeah, I'll pass on the cake. It's all about the melons.
Okay, gotta make sure I dodge the Mankey there, otherwise another battle will trigger. We don't want that to happen because the battle doesn't benefit us at all. And it's on to the Cove area to finally make it to the Crag area. We're going to have to shoot Tepic from the cannon again, because once again, he's in the cannon. And once Tepic is out, we have to fight him, and then we have all of our pals, and we can finally make it towards the final boss. As a heads up for tech in advance, time isn't when we beat the final boss, but rather when we ring the wish bell for the last time, which is pretty much immediately after the final boss, but it's like a cutscene in between or something. Because the ringing the wish bell is the last input that you have to do before the final cutscene, and then the credits start. So here we go. We're going to just dash over there. Now that I think about it, I'm not actually sure if Tepic is in the cannon again. I don't think he is. I think he's just next to the cannon. Yeah, there he is. There's Tepic. We're going to swap to Oshawott just to speed up the battle quite a bit here. So Tepic is all about, you know, he's all scared again. Tepic was actually very timid earlier as well, until he joined our crew. And now once again, he's just incredibly scared.
Crrool?
Yeah?
We're getting melons because we have a €78 donation from definitely not RDV saying
Nice.
saying shoutouts to Grumpmeister, we're broke now.
Nice.
It's fine, it's for charity.
Exactly.
But yeah, that means we do have the all melons 1 lap run instead of the any %. Now that's actually not the last thing you can donate for Yoshi's story, because there is still the color bit war going on where pink is in the lead with 50 over blue, which only has 5. There's also 4 other options, which are red, yellow, green, and dark blue, which both haven't been donated for. So if you want to see any of those 6 colors, be sure to get your donations in before the end of this run.
Okay, so I'm gonna briefly switch to Snivy. It's hard to say whether it's worth it to go to Snivy or just instantly to Tepic, because we have to switch to Tepic here anyway in order to push the button and open the door. But for now, it'll have to do. This is the fastest path to one of the gates. We can just skip the cutscene at this point since we've seen it before. And we need to be at the gate so that we can get to Wish Park and then to Wish Palace, and then finally we're going to face off with Darkrai. And we're almost at the end there. What's the 251? Okay, that's... I think this might still sub 3. Pretty sure this can still sub 3. So here we go. Through the tunnel over here as well. Yes, we can just we can just fall down here and then here. Go over the bridge. The gate on the other end here is still open from before. And it's the last time we actually have to open up one of these gates. Like I said, it's a little bit easier than the first time around since we now have Victini to help us. But it's still, like, heavy Pokemon have the best chance, and none of the new Pokemon are actually heavy. So, gonna be a little bit tricky to get that done. Okay. Let's hope we can get the last one, and then we're at least done with opening the gates. The final boss is generally not a super difficult one. I can die there, but it's not too likely. Okay, so we've got all of our friends here. Okay, almost there. Got it. Okay. That's enough friendship power to open up the gate. So on to Wish Palace we go. Now again, because it's the second time I open the gate, I can actually just skip the cutscene, which does save a little bit of time there. Now before we actually get to the Darkrai fight, I need to pay very close attention that I switch to Oshawott just before I get to the actual fight. Because Oshawott's been trained for this, Snivy has not. But here we go. On to the final boss. So the final boss consists of two main phases, really. The first phase, we're just going to get a pretty much a regular battle against him. That part consists of two parts, essentially, where, or depending on like how much health he has, he'll do different moves. And then afterwards, we're going to get another secondary fight. We do get healed between the two at least, so generally not very difficult. The second part is usually not too hard, as long as I can manage to dodge most of his attacks. And the same goes for the first part, really. Okay, so here we go. Time for Darkrai. So Darkrai will start by teleporting around a bunch, and after a few teleports, he'll start to do an attack, and that's where I'm gonna get the opportunity to attack back at him. So he's gonna do a dash like that. I'm gonna turn around, swap, and do a dash combo on him. Additionally, I'm gonna try to get a water gun off if at all possible. If he's close enough, I can go for a Razor Shell, but he was slightly too far away there. Okay, that's kind of annoying. I don't know if I can still get my dash combo. Okay, I still got it. Okay, got the Razor Shell there for some extra damage. He's now going to do his other attack, which means he's going to use a bunch of those fireballs. I can just walk around that most of the time. And another... almost got it. Try to go for another Razor Shell, but... There we go. That's phase one. Now, Darkrai is going to grow super size. This is basically the prequel of Dynamaxing Kappa. So, yeah, he's gonna just destroy the entire Wish Palace, and now we have to face him in his giant form. Now, generally speaking, I find the second phase easier than the first phase. Because he doesn't get the invincibility frames that he did in the first phase. So I can just generally keep hitting and just have to dodge his attacks. Got a little bit too greedy there, admittedly. But here I can just attack a bunch. Especially since he was all attacking other parts of the map. You can see how much damage I'm doing just like that. There we go, that's the second phase. And that's Darkrai. So now that that's done, we're essentially done with the run. Time is coming up pretty soon. So be sure to be ready on that. As Darkrai has been defeated here. The Dark Vortex is still growing. That's still very much a thing. But yeah, you'll see as we get out of Wish Palace. So his ideal world where all Pokemon would have fun forever is now gone. But his form of fun is kind of misguided. So it's actually worth it for me to swap to Snivy here. Like just in Wish Park alone, there's enough running that it's not worth it to stay on Oshawott. And after this, we're gonna get swapped to Pikachu by default anyway. It's the last bit we have to do with Pikachu. Now that we're out of here, we see that the Dark Vortex has grown quite a bit, and it's starting to get close to swallowing the Wish Park. Now, luckily for us, Reuniclus and Piplup show up, and Reuniclus actually found a way to stop the Dark Vortex. But it very much requires us ringing the 4 bells of the Wish Park at the same time. And time will be when we hit the 4 bells. Or rather, when we hit the bell with Pikachu. So, we hear that it's not just the Wish Park that's being swallowed, but all of the PokéPark is being swallowed. Reuniclus has this item, the light polarization, to try and help us stop that. But we need to have all of the bells ringing so it can resonate with this orb and stop the vortex from doing anything. But so we're gonna just look around, and we decide, you know, we're just gonna go for it. Each of us is going to be ringing the wish bell. Snivy is gonna do the one in the cake zone, Oshawott with the dance one, Pikachu the flight zone, and then the fighting one is for Tepig. So they're gonna each go into their direction. I get forced into Pikachu, and we go to the flight zone to ring the bell. Time will be the moment that we hit it. I go this way. Almost went too far there. So just some stairs we have to climb here. And final countdown here. Time. Nice. Sub 3. Sub 3. We got it. I was hoping I was able to get sub 3. We had a few nasty fights there, but all in all, that went okay. So basically, the Dark Vortex does start to swallow it. And since I think we're still behind a little bit, I'm going to round it up quickly. The Oshawott is about to get sucked in. The orb works, and you know, everything gets set back to normal, and you know, everybody ends up being happy. Because, let's be fair, it's still a Pokemon game. So yeah, I think we're going to go back to you guys in a moment, and I think we're going to go into an interview soon. So I'm going to quickly get ready for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys out back in a moment.
Thank you for that amazing run, Crrool. And indeed, I will be interviewing Crrool because if it's not like you haven't heard our voices enough. Right afterwards, though, is Yoshi's Story by RDV versus the World. And that will indeed be the All Melons 1 lap because we did meet the incentive.